Hi, I'm Sanja Rozman. I'm a psychotherapist, a medical doctor, and author of 7 books on process addictions. On this channel, we discuss process addictions, relationship problems, and trauma, helping you learn all you need to know about process addictions. And today, we're going to talk about holistic principle in treatment or in recovery of diseases. I'm on holidays in Greece and wandering around looking at the beautiful villages and houses in Santorini in Greece. I reminded how we learned in medical school about holistic principle. What does this mean? Whole against part. It means that the whole is more than the sum of the parts. It means that a person is composed of many layers, and all the layers are important. And today we're going to speak about all those layers. I'm going to explain all those layers or dimensions in this video. First, there's a physical dimension, our body. Then there's a psychological dimension, our psyche. That means everything we think we are, what we experienced from birth on until today, our beliefs, our memories, our traumas. And then there's the relationship dimension. Our relationships are very important for us. They define us and define also the way we relate to the world, be it with fear or with love. And last but not least, there is the spiritual dimension, the core of our being, the connection to the divine, where we hold deep beliefs and where we try to figure out what sense does all that make. Here we are on top of the living, active volcano in Santorini. Like a volcano, physical forces in our body, the bodily forces, can lie dormant for centuries. A volcano represents the raw, dense layers of the earth that can be compared to the human body. It can withstand the pressures of outside and inside forces for centuries, but then suddenly erupt and erase the whole civilizations. As a medical doctor, I've learned to deal with the physical forces of the body, but that alone didn't help me understand the process of a disease or influence its course. The influence of stress, for example, cannot be seen at once. You can feel non-specific symptoms like tiredness, emotional distress and irritability, but can go on with it for quite some time, repressing these forces down. But one day there's too much stress, and you can erupt like a volcano with symptoms of a serious disease like allergy, high blood pressure, or even cancer. And as a doctor, you need to understand what happens before the disease starts, what happens in the core. Our bodies are not all we are. We can feel our bodies with our senses, but we experience our psyche within who we are. Everything we feel, see, touch, hear, we experience first in our psyche. It gets stored in our memory, whether we are aware of it or not. Later on, we compare the new experiences we encounter to the stored memories, and in this way we figure out the meaning of all things. This is why our first childhood memories are so important. If we learned as an infant that the world is not a safe place, then we may well spend our life running away from dangers, real or imagined. Relationships are another important part of our existence. They define who we are, what we think we are, what we want to become. They define all our life, and we are always entangled in a web of relationships. When something goes wrong with our lives, it also affects our relationships. Spirit is a concept not everybody knows what to do with. For religious people, it means the connection to the divine. But a lot of people who don't consider themselves religious also believe that there's something out there that gives the meaning to all the different good or bad experiences of one's life. Every day, thousands of people gather on the streets of the village Ia in Santorini, considered one of the most beautiful villages of the world. They come to experience the sunset, the magic moment when the nature shows off with the magnificent fireworks of colors. A sunset cannot be used or sold. It can only be shared. In one of these special moments, we are reminded of our divine spark within. Any disease, especially addiction, also affect our relationships. And when we are on the way to recovery, we have to do something to repair it. The concept of holistic health was known to the ancient Greeks. They knew that the whole is more than the sum of the parts. In the same way, if we combine the body, the psyche, the relationships, and the spiritual dimension of a person, everything combined is more than the sum of the parts. This is what a human is. This is what a person is. The ancient Greeks knew that, so in their health spas, they combined all the dimensions. There was a hot steam bath, a stadium, a temple where they prayed to their gods, and the theater where they watched their dramas. Yes, theater, and today we have psychodrama as one of the therapeutic modalities in psychotherapy. However, in our modern culture, we seem to have forgotten the benefits of the holistic approach. Instead, we have become specialized. Medicine takes care of the body. Psychotherapy is about the psyche. Sociology is concerned with the relationships. And we seem to expect religion to look after the spirit. But all these scientific approaches have lost their connection with each other. They cannot get to the bottom of the problem, say a disease or recovery, if they do not borrow from each other. The person, namely, is much more than the sum of their findings. When I was a young doctor 25 years ago, I tried to understand my patients and their problems, but I couldn't do so using only medical methods. So I decided to learn psychotherapy and also learned about relationships and spiritual dimensions. This was a great asset for me as a person because I developed on the way, and I think that this also helps my patients. And so today, after 25 years of working with people in recovery, I know that all the dimensions of a person's health have to be systematically taken care of, and such is also my program. It takes care of the physical, it takes care of the psychological, it takes care of the relationship dimension, and also it takes care of the spiritual dimensions. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new today, consider liking, sharing and subscribing. Also make sure to check out my previous video about my new book Serenity, where my holistic program is described. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Goodbye and thank you.